Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of February 1st through the 7th. And during that time, we have a full moon that comes in on the 2nd. And of course, that can be a time of heightened emotions or maybe feeling a little overwhelmed and anxious, maybe a little irritable. But it's also a gift. It's a time for us to practice patience and calm, and definitely to release any resentments or fears. So just kind of see that as a gift every month. Yeah, you might be a little anxious, you might lose a little sleep, but practice that patience. It's just a little time for us to do that, which I think is a good little exercise for all of us. We then move into the waning gibbous moon for the rest of the week, and that's a good time for self-reflection and rebirth. Good time to make positive changes and get rid of bad habits and negative thinking, and just positively work towards achieving your goals and aspirations. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this particular reading: a time to give rather than take. All right, let's see what the Aquarius Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you this week is that you take some time to get out into nature. So, try to take a walk, maybe get in the woods and take a walk, find a park or somewhere that has a lovely view, and just really take the time to connect with the miracle of nature. Maybe study a tree or a plant for longer than you usually would, or listen to the water if you have some around you. If it's warm, I know it's very cold here. I mean, I think my time in nature this week will probably be looking at that full moon and what it's doing, what it looks like on the snow, because it's so crispy, cold, and snowy where I am right now. So, and I may have to really twist my own arm to, oh, come on, cards, let's go, to take my own advice because it's so cold. And my time in the outside recently has been from the house to the car to the house, car to the next location, because it's so cold. I don't enjoy it. So, anyway, if you do live in a warmer climate, please get out and look at the ocean for the rest of us. Take a walk. Or if you enjoy winter, go enjoy it. Anyway, that's my fun weekly reminder for the week. Let's get into this reading, Aquarius. February 1st through the 7th, it's a time to give rather than take. And your overall energy right now is the Queen of Cups. And of course, she's definitely a giver. She's a giver in the emotional realm. She's the one who just has the good things to say, So be that person this week. Be positive to your friends and your family. Be encouraging, take the time to just look at them and ask what they're going through. And is there some way that you can emotionally support them this week? It is a time for you to do that and to give. Your current situation is the Fool card. So here you are off on a new journey, and maybe that opens you up to being this kind of open emotionally right now because you're on this new journey and you're really, you're just enjoying it. I feel like I get the feeling that you're just in a good emotional place right now. You're enjoying what you're doing. You're enjoying this new journey, this new life, this new path that you've been on. And so go ahead and enjoy this. This is actually your card. This is the card of Aquarius. I know you guys like to have new journeys. Sometimes you can keep doing things like this over and over and over. It's the way of Aquarius to kind of go, oh, squirrel, and go over here. So enjoy this one while it lasts. Maybe you'll have some longevity to this one. At the root of your situation is the Magician. So here you are manifesting things and watching them come true. So that's awesome. That's a great way to be. And it looks like you've manifested some new path again for yourself. So that's great. I love both of those cards together. In your recent past, here is the Page of Wands. So it might be something that you've discovered here on this new journey, that there's something that you're newly passionate about, and that's led you to make this decision to, oh, I'm going to go over here. I like this thing. Let's go. So again, just make sure that you're, having the ability to focus on it and really take it in and enjoy this emotional stability that you're having at the moment. On your mind this week, Aquarius, is the 9 of Cups here. So again, a happy card. Look at all just the yellow in all of these cards right here. This is about, kind of self-indulgence, kind of patting yourself on the back, like, look what I did. Look what I've accomplished here. This is great. Everybody's very happy in this. And I think you're having a really good energy week. And maybe again, that's why it's time to give, give while you're on the up. That's really nice for your friends and the family, the people around you. What is just ahead of you this week is the Empress, another card just full of this yellow sunshine. So, the Empress is about, of course, she's a card of creativity and just being very bountiful. She's kind of the mother of the deck. For some people, this could be a card of pregnancy. I always say that. But if that's not in the cards for you, this card can represent really taking on something long term. That maybe this new thing that you've started is that you're going to say, hey, I'm going to commit to this for at least the many months ahead or many even years ahead. That I found something I think I can do for a long period of time, and you're going to make that commitment to do that, and that is ahead of you this week. So, that could just be a decision that again comes out because you're passionate about this new thing that you're doing, and maybe it is time to, like I said, don't be like, oh, squirrel, and move off to the next thing so quickly, like an Aquarian might do. Maybe it is time to say, hey, let's kind of do the long term thing here, build some kind of stability, especially just stability in the material so that you can kind of just get your bearings. So pay attention to that. And if that decision comes about, if there's something that kind of makes you make a commitment, I mean, someone may say, we want you to sign a 2-year contract this week, then you need to think about, is that something you're willing to do? I feel like you should. I feel like it would be a really good decision for you right now, instead of moving from thing to thing to thing, is to settle into that one thing and make that commitment that, yeah, I'm going to stay here for a minute. Let me stay here, get my bearings, get myself nice and stable. All right, let's see. In your advice position is, yeah, maybe if you do that, it's going to lead to some long term financial and material security. And maybe that's what you need. Um, so I think that's a good decision. I think the advice is to really think of the bigger picture. To think of if maybe making this commitment does help your bigger picture, if that makes sense. All right. What is beyond your control this week? And that would be the High Priestess. Very interesting. So, is she coming along to kind of inform you in the way of synchronicities and little messages? Maybe this tarot reading, maybe a dream that you're having, that she's coming along to say, hey, it is time to make this commitment. Go ahead and make this long-term commitment. It's going to lead to something good long-term for you. I love how this reading is shaping up, by the way. I just like the color. Sometimes I look at the color of tarot, and I see that it's, of course, the High Priestess, heard this card's a little darker, but that's because those messages are a little bit hidden. They're not as out in the sun as everything else. These are the kind of quiet, subtle messages that come through. All right, let's see what your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Ace of Cups. So is it your secret desire to kind of pour yourself out emotionally a little bit, or have you been trying to avoid that, and that's why it's coming up in this reading, that it is a time to give? Again, look around to your friends and family, and, see if there's someone that just needs picked up a little bit. It might just be a quick, a fun conversation with them, take them to lunch, maybe a little gift. There's all kinds of fun things that you can do, but look around and see if someone around you needs that kind of support this week, because it looks like you're in a great place and you're in a good place to do it. You're happy, you're cheerful, you're having a great week. And so, don't keep that to yourself, right? That's the song. Don't keep your good luck to yourself. Share it with everyone around you. In your outcome position, Aquarius, is the Two of Wands. So, this is definitely you thinking about the future. And again, with this Empress, is it time to make a longer term commitment when it comes to something? And what is it? Of course, I was using work as an example, but it could be a relationship that you're making a long term commitment on. It's just any different part of your life, something that you're saying, I'm going to really stick with this, and I'm going to um, set up a way that makes it impossible for me to get out of it for a little bit. I feel like it's just really about making that commitment and then sticking to it. What is hidden from you this week, Aquarius, is the Judgment card. So, yeah, I don't think, judgments are about having a new awareness. I think maybe you're a little too new into this to make any super big judgments about it. And maybe it's just that don't push against the obvious thing that comes out again with synchronicities and things that are coming your way. Don't think about it too much. Just kind of go with the flow. Go with the flow and think about this commitment. And do you really, do you want to commit to something for a little bit longer than maybe you normally would? And if you do, go ahead and do that. It'll be fine. It should be just fine. All right, let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Aquarius. Final message for Aquarius this week is to claim your art. And what is that for you? Um, I don't know. We were talking about things back here in the passion realm. So, maybe this is something kind of artistic that you're involved with here. Or maybe your art is kind of moving from thing to thing to thing. Do you need to claim that and own it before you can make a bigger decision, perhaps? There's probably a few ways to read that card and to understand, especially applying it here, what that might mean. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care this week for Aquarius. The self-care card for you this week is the one that says feelings. Healing begins with feeling. Be gentle with yourself and tender with your heart. So maybe you are healing something up, and that's why you're taking off on this new path and doing these new things. So, what is this? Or maybe you need to express that to someone, just express how you're feeling. I'm sure you have a close friend or family member or someone that you can, let them know. But you are doing a little bit of healing and being just gentle with yourself and maybe just enjoy the moment for a minute too. We're thinking about long term things, but maybe don't think too hard about the future. Just kind of enjoy the moment and where you are at this time. So, Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use for your week. If you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below and let me know. Is there some new venture that you've been on? Is it something that you manifested or really thought about? And is it going to be a track for you to have long term wealth and security? So I'd be very curious to know that. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you like my reading style, clicking like and subscribe would really help me, and I appreciate that so much. But more importantly, it'll help you find me next week where you can come back and we can see where your story goes. So thanks so much, Aquarius, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.